Okay, so this fan here you can see is pretty outdated. Just been one of those things where we haven't got to for a long time, but then some of the light bulbs in the back started having problems and they were shorting out, so was forced to do something. I've already disconnected those. Took apart this fan to salvage a fan in another room. Just a reiteration with this fan, we had two fans in the house, some other ones too, but I thought, instead of just buying all new fans for everything, we got this fan that's white, and I had two that I could piece together. But I started looking online and other videos, people talk about how they redid fans and found quite a few. And so we're gonna go ahead and try that out, see how it works, and then I think give a little bit more clarity on a few things. Some of the paint choices were a little bit difficult to know what to pick. And I think I like what we're doing, and I'll put those paint colors on there too as well, to kind of help talk through this process. If you decide not to take your fan apart, then you would want to put painter's tape up around the areas you're going to paint, like up there, and then drop cloths and things so you don't get paint in the house, obviously. Some of these fans are not too difficult to take apart, but then again, that could be intimidating for some people, so you could go the other route too. You could do hand painting as well with a brush or a roller. I think a brush would be better if you're going to try to paint all this stuff here. I'm going to use spray paint on the metal parts in the garage, and then I'll use a paintbrush on the fan blades. And I'll show you that technique in a little bit. All right, so just trying this out. Got some Home Depot paint, Rust-Oleum. This is a paint and primer. It's the Canyon Black Satin, and just tried it out and started on some of the parts of the fan that I've taken apart. Took that fan completely apart to repaint stuff, so I didn't have a mess in the house. You could do it the other way with caulking or a painter's tape, but I thought this would be easier. Plus, I needed to switch out different parts. But I like the looks of it. Looks pretty good. I'd be worried about this paint scratching off if it was on something like a door handle or hinge where there's a lot of contact, but this is going to be a fan up in the air and really not going to have any sort of wear on it, so this will hold. I'm going to put another slap of paint on here. I just did the first one. Here's one of the fan blade holders, and I got to still do another coat. I was just trying it out, see if I like the look of it. It looks great. And I'll show you some other stuff here in a little bit, and then we'll go over some of the other paint choices too. Plan is going to be to put a fan that we piece together into this room here. We're going to repaint the fan. We're actually going to work on it. Probably going to use these wire cages that we got off of Home Depot website. They're only like $6 and some change each, so a really good price there. And then the last fan in this room had these on there, but I switched them out because they're both the same brand. And I'm going to improvise and put these on here. And then gonna paint all the brass or gold there. Gonna paint that a black, and then redoing the fan blades, and we'll see if this works. All right, so here's some of the painting that we're doing. Just going back in, put a second layer on this one. With a dog hair in here, you're gonna watch that. My partner over here. Okay. So we'll just keep kind of spray painting all the old fixture parts I've taken apart on that fan. And then I think next I'll show you what I did with the blade. Blade here is white, and I'm gonna paint the edges and the sides, what are gonna be seen from the ground. I'm trying to go for a wood look. So we're going to paint a base color, and then we're going to do a darker for the streaks with a dry brush technique. I found a little bit of some ideas online, YouTube, on people that have done this before. It looked pretty cool. And I liked the coloring. We found a few hunter fans, and there was one they had on there that was a weathered oak, or some of the other options are like the walnut look to it. Anyway, something that's a little bit darker, we're trying to go with, so for an industrial kind of look to the fan. And so the technique we're going to do is paint the base for this look, and if you end up liking this look, the hardest part was trying to visualize it. And I went to Home Depot and getting the paint base, and it was really hard for me to figure that out because it's hard to visualize if this was but this ended up being really good. So I went with the Bear Dynasty. The base is DY, D as in dog, Y613. It's called Toasted Bagel. I went with this sample Toasted Bagel, D as in dog, Y613. And this base color ended up being exactly what I think I wanted. So we'll go ahead and do this here. This is going to take 2 coats, shake the paint up. I already did that. And then go ahead and just start doing the painting. Just brushing it on. The first coat is going to obviously have some of that white see-through. Getting those edges just to start getting a base on there. I didn't do any primer on this because there has white, and I guess I was getting a little lazy, but I think that this actually is going to stick on here pretty good. I already checked the other one. I've done one kind of as a sample to even see if this was going to work, and it looks like it's going to be everything we dreamed and hoped for. So just going on here, these don't take too long, and kind of like hard to visualize this. It kind of looked at first like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be right, but again, you'll see the finished product, and I think it'll kind of make sense when you see it. That looks pretty good. All right, here's the part where we do the fancy little, I did 2 coats on the blades to the fans, and kind of looks like, it doesn't look very good, but then we had this paint, so this is Clark and Kessington paint here. It was just some of what we had, so I didn't go out and buy any, but it's a premium interior paint, and it was Strong Influence. Looks like N as in Nancy C32. That was Ace Hardware. But there's the codes. You might be able to look for something like that for the Bear paint. Similar. It's kind of a dark, what would they call this? It's a satin paint, but it's kind of a really dark, almost like a mocha looking color, brown tint. So what I ended up doing was experimenting, and take your paintbrush, dip it in the paint, and then wipe it off to kind of get it dry, and then come along, and this kind of gives the wood grain look, and you just kind of want to, I thought about even like doing a few that look like knots, like doing a little circle. I'll see if they like that or not. And kind of a dry streak. So you kind of see what it's doing. Okay, a little bit on the sides, the edge. There's a few spots I gotta fix up, and I'll just kind of fill it in there. Trying to make a few circle patterns like a knot of wood. And a few extra dark spots, and few lighter spots maybe, kind of just vary it. Trying to make it look blended in. Not sure if the swirl thing is working out. Not sure if I like that too much. Kind of a little bit on the edges here and there, just to make it look broken up so it's not unnatural appearing. And so I think that looks pretty good. You can see that's a kind of a, well, it's kind of dry. There's one there. Here's one that's dried already. There's a finished product. Looks pretty good, actually. A little bit of glare there, but gives kind of a different blade texture. I was going to touch this one up just a little bit. A few spots. A little bit on the edges. Oop. Okay. All right. It looks a little bit on the camera. I can tell it's a little more spotty than it really looks in real life. It actually looks a little bit better when you're looking right at it. I think from a distance it'll really look good from the fan up above. I think here's the finished products, those three and those two. So maybe. Okay, the lights turned on. Wiring was right. That looks pretty good overall. Actually, the project, you're proud of what you do when you're done. I will say it takes definitely more time than you expect. So if you're looking to save money and time, you're not going to do it. And creativity, and getting the fan you want, it's worth it.